Yeah, winning, I'm balling like Pippin. Got the plus in the rest with the cash app. Try to practice social distance.
So let's jump ahead a couple years. You know, we not teens no more. You know, now you in your early 20s, and you actually you in the military now. I remember because I didn't see you for like it was like what 5 years, 6, 7 years. I didn't see you because you was gone, and then I was doing my own thing. And then when I finally come into contact with you again, it was on the basketball court, and Carlos was out there, and I was dunking on fools. You ain't know who I was. You ain't know who I was, but then I found out that you had, this conscious, like you had this conscious. You was before you were Valmore Go, you was Live Martyr.
Live Martyr.
So then you had the conscious kind of Christian rap group, called Camp Liberation. It was, you guys were all in Chicago. You guys had big, heavy play, all in the magazines and the newspapers. What happened that kind of changed your trajectory on how you started doing music from being from Live Martyr to Valmore Gold? What happened between those times?
Man, you just coming out the bat with it. What would you been? I thought I was gonna be answering Maury type questions. You coming with the Sally Jesse Raphael. So shout out to Sally Jesse Raphael. But man, so Camp Liberation. The funny thing is the things that we're doing now with Black State is literally the same blueprint that I had in my mind with Camp Lib.
Okay.
And, I always felt like as an MC, I had to rap what was true to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so being a young man of God, I had started preaching. I was very heavy in the church. And I didn't really even know what to do with the fact that I was an MC, because during that time frame, it wasn't really even an accepted thing holistically. Right. Until like Cross Movement came out, 116, all of those guys. So with that in mind, I'm like, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to rap about this type of stuff, I need to be knowledgeable, which drove me to learn more about my faith and to be able to authentically drop bars and even freestyle, about my faith as well. But I've never been a preachy cat, so I didn't want to come off as preachy. So it did have a conscious vibe. And I did have artists that were preachy, but I wasn't like, nah, I kind of want to hit you over the head with like, this cat's talking different. And if I listen to what he's saying, wow, he's actually saying something with some substance, and it will open up or segue for me to have dialogue with somebody about my faith. Okay. Which was my intent back then. But back then I wanted to run the gamut on a lot of things, community efforts, just all this other type of stuff. But two things, timing and being in your proper place. So one, I was trying to do today's vision back then. I had the vision, but it wasn't the time for it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you have to be surrounded by the right people and the right team. You have to. The reason why Black State University is successful now really ain't because of me. I have a vision, but it's having these people around me that have mastery, autonomy, and purpose. You hear me talk about those three things a lot, and they align with the vision. You give them the ball, they run. I don't have to follow up behind you. You do your thing. So I kind of got exhausted and discouraged because it was so much I wanted to accomplish during that time frame. Also during that time frame, I took up problems personally with the church, the people. When I was preaching and stuff, when I first started preaching, I felt like I had a very pure heart, and I wasn't really indoctrinated in the church machine that we see. Mm-hmm. And the more and more I got indoctrinated into that machine, the business side of things, the drama, the stuff that takes away from you just bottom line loving people and helping people, I took an issue with that. Then so you see it's kind of compounded. So then there's another aspect of Christian hip hop back then where if you didn't go through a certain channel or you didn't believe in your faith a certain way, like there's different trains of thought as it pertains to the faith. If I'm not really speaking the same language as the people that's backed up and funded by the larger people, we speaking different. Mm-hmm. I had the skills, I had the quality, I had the team, I had the momentum, we was going, but I didn't really get blessed into it because we were speaking differently. You know what I'm saying? And sense. So you're gonna hit a wall and you're just gonna stop this, so your efforts are just gonna stop. Lastly, I took up a problem. I had a personal problem with God that I ultimately worked out. So I had some issues in my faith that I had to work through. I said lastly, but really the most important thing is I never really was supposed to be doing Christian hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just supposed to be a man with godly principle that operates within the construct of music, period. So I didn't want to be like, I'm a Christian rapper. And there's a space for that. There's people that need to create music for people that go to church and don't want to listen to nothing if it ain't got nothing to do with their faith, right? There's also an element of people in Christian hip hop that are doing things to reach people. That's that. I'm none of that. I'm just a dude that have godly principles, and I exist doing music, and I just try to hold to my principles best possible, love people, and do that. People that know me know what I'm about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I was out of pocket, really. You know, I kind of equate it to like somebody that's a banker. They're not like, I'm a Christian banker. And so you go to the teller like, hey, let me get $100. And you're like, in Jesus' name, I'll give you $100. You know, and you count it out, you know, this is for the Father. That's a Christian banker.
Right.
But a banker that's a Christian is just somebody that's a banker and they go operate in the bank world and finance or whatever. And they just stand on their morals and their principles. And that's how I felt like I need to do it. I'm not a Christian rapper. I'm a rapper that's a believer. You see what I'm saying? And if you listen to my music now, knowing that, you'll go, oh, I hear it. If you listen to Imagination, my last album, that ain't nothing but that's God talk. You know what I'm saying?
You got to really listen to it to really.
You got to catch it. But you get lost in the fact that, man, this beat is disgusting. And my man is spitting that like it's disgusting. But it feeds people. And so when I say like this Souls and Silhouettes album, how people say how therapeutic it is and how they put it into their self-care regimen, is laced with my intimate relationship with God. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about identity in yourself and how God has created you to be and all the awesome things that you can do. But I never once was like, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
speaking to that divine purpose in code almost. Divine
purpose, you know, and then when I had the opportunity to have dialogue with somebody, now we can go deeper. You want to know where this wisdom come from? You want to know where this knowledge come from? Let's have a deeper dive. You know what I mean? About who I am and what this music represents. So Live Martyr had to die. And it's funny and ironic because Live Martyr. Like he was martyred for it. So when I came back on the music scene, I had to realize who I was and now who I'm going to be as I rebrand myself, remarket myself, and represent myself. And so Valmore is my middle name. And gold speaks of the purification process, right? Like gold holds value the more pure it is. And so in order for gold to get purified, it has to go through a refining process through fire. And I felt like I had went through a lot of fire through that time frame to become the person that I was when I finally came back out making music. I've been through this process. I'm coming out like gold. And now I'm just authentically, there's no gimmicks. My middle name is Valmore Gold. So that's where it comes from. And because I'm, you know, so that's
drip.
A little junior drip, you know what I'm saying? More than a conqueror, you know, feel me? But that's what that journey was from Live Martyr to Valmore Gold. The purpose is different. The mission is different. The drive behind it is different. My central thrust in my music is different. So I'm a different person. As people evolve, they change. You know, people expect these artists, especially when you're an artist, not just a recording artist, just when you're an artist, there's always this point of evolution and wanting to evolve as a person, you know, and grow. Mm-hmm. And so when you do that and you want to express yourself in so many different ways, you're bound to have another vector at some point in time. So that's the Live Martyr to Valmore Gold story.